Hey, what's up, folks? It's getting cold, cold, cold out here in the East Coast these days. So if you wonder why I'm bundled up, my wife's too cheap to put on the heat, so I gotta walk around in a doggone hoodie. Anyways, I wanted to discuss something that's been on my mind, something that's been bothering me. I have a really good homeboy, a really good friend, a good dude. Okay, he's from Germany. He's a friend. He's a friend not only to me, but a friend to the Jewish people. His behavior has been great. I mean, he's donated his time, his energies, his vacations to helping out the state of Israel. He has Jewish friends. He has, you know, he wears a Megan David around his neck. Okay, he's a good guy. However, he upset me about a month ago. Okay, because he and I were speaking on the phone, and he mentioned something that upset me, and it was related to the Second World War. Now, mind you, he's German, okay, and he has been living with the guilt of the Holocaust his whole life, okay. And I understand a lot of these young Germans have the guilt, and they don't deserve it necessarily, because I don't believe that they should be punished for something that they didn't do. Most of them were not even born anywhere close to the Second World War. This guy was about my age, so he was born in the 70s. He and I were speaking about the Camp Auschwitz-Birkenau, and he seems to believe that the gas chambers there could not have been operating the way people have say that they operated. I'm not sure his reasoning for it, because quite honestly, I don't give that type of argument any validity. I don't give that type of argument any sort of time out of my life. Anybody who tries to make an argument to me that something that we know as facts that happened during the war didn't, or was or people lied or exaggerated what went on there, the process of extermination in Auschwitz-Birkenau, or any of the death camps, or any events of the Holocaust. I don't argue with that. I don't even give that type of argument any of validity. However, because if he was a friend of mine, I did semi listen to what he was saying, and he basically was telling me that the Auschwitz-Birkenau gas chambers were too primitive to have been constructed by the Germans, being that the Germans were these uh, excellent engineers and inventors, and if they were going to exterminate Jews or anyone else, they would have done it in a much proficient manner. Okay, and I explained to him that if that was the case, then why at Kelmo and Treblinka and Belzec did they use gas vans, essentially? And in Kelmo, they actually used vans, but in Treblinka and um, Belzec, from what I know, Belgium is, I'm not 100% sure, also Sobibor, they used exhaust gases to exterminate Jewish people. There, where in Auschwitz, Birkenau, and Majdanek, they used Cyclone B. Okay, that process of exterminating the Jewish people with exhaust was very primitive. And I tried to say, listen, the top echelon of the German people were not necessarily the ones who um, constructed the gas chambers. We'd like to believe that maybe those people were not involved or in the know of what was going on at these places. But that doesn't take away from the fact that by getting the Jewish people to allow themselves to be deported to these camps, that indeed was the real quote unquote the genius, in a sense, because they used such deception and lies and awful tactics, beyond imaginable to get them there. It was irrelevant on whether, the top brains in the world could have developed something more efficient than what they had in these camps. However, they were quite efficient and they worked, unfortunately, quite well. I think that German people, especially younger ones, are looking for an excuse, a way um, to find a reason that not to fault them for the what happened. And again, I don't personally fault anyone unless they were involved. But if you're going to perpetrate these lies that the Holocaust didn't happen, and these are the reasons, and none of it is based on fact, it's complete fantasy. The reasons that he was trying to explain to me why it was impossible that Auschwitz could not have operated the way it did. We all know, based on bill of ladings, um, uh, names, numbers of deportations that were, um, trains that were where the folks who were on the trains. We know their names. We know where they were deported from, and we know that they never returned. And that in and of itself is enough proof for anyone to try to explain why a gas chamber might have operated this way or that way. First of all, the gas chambers in Auschwitz-Birkenau were destroyed, by the Sonderkommandos in their uprising, as well as the Germans when they evacuated the camp to try to hide the evidence from the the Soviet soldiers that were about to liberate the place. So, we don't really know how it was constructed exactly. We do have eyewitness accounts, but you know, those were a handful of Sonderkommandos that survived, and their um, memories may have been not exactly accurate. That's my dog. Dogs. Nevertheless, this has been bothering me quite a bit. And as very few survivors still exist of the Holocaust, we, as the next generation of people that, you know, met Holocaust survivors firsthand, able to talk with them one on one, we need to continue this memory of what happened, and we cannot allow lies and deception and half truths and etc. to get in the way of the truth. And we need to keep pushing forward and speaking about these things. Otherwise, they will for sure happen again. If not to the Jewish people, then definitely to other peoples here in America. Even it could possibly happen, but certainly happen somewhere else in the world. Um, so this was something very upsetting to me, and I wanted to talk about because for a friend of mine to sit there and tell me that this could not have happened was hurtful, and it really upset me. Uh, Although I'm still friends with him, and I plan to continue being friends with him. Again, he's a good dude, and he's actually helped out quite a bit in certain things related to Israel. I want to get be exactly tell exactly what it was. It's not my business to say, but he has, and hopefully we can move forward. And like I said, I mean, the Holocaust was perpetrated by not the top brains of Germany. It was perpetrated by the criminal minds of Germany, by the barbarians of Germany. So let's not get things confused. But let me know what you guys think about that. Again, I mean, Holocaust denying of any sort is unacceptable. We can't allow that to. We can't allow those things um, to be spoken about without confronting it immediately. We need to confront Holocaust denying any way, shape, or form immediately, so that we can nip any sort of lies in the nip them in the bud right away. All right, folks. You guys have a nice day and stay warm.